Alright guys, by the time this video gets out, you'll have already seen the wheel repair, and yep, stuff's still laying out. And this trailer's been in the shop for over a month now. Been kind of busy with other things, a lot of kids' sports. It's summertime, so haven't gotten nearly done what I wanted to get done, but I am onto the trailer now. I did get a little bit of a head start yesterday. I didn't get on film, and that was mainly knocking the roll pins out of these big ramp bars, which are right here. Big solid steel bars, and taking the ramps off, which I use an engine hoist to just pick those up. They are not very rusty. Well, I say very, but they're not rusted through. They're still good and solid. So I don't have to make any repairs to the ramps. The heavy steel, the deck is still in good shape, but the main thing I need to repair is this bumper. So as you can see, it is pretty well paper thin. You can literally see through it, through the light holes. The whole backside is completely gone for the most part. And the big reason is even where the ramps mount, there's holes rusted through, especially where this license plate trapped salt or whatever this trailer ran in. Again, this is only a 2012 load trail, so it is now about 10 years old. But I cannot believe the amount of rust that this thing has at the back. So I had this big sheet of steel here that I was thinking about plating in some of the areas and just fixing some of the areas locally, but I do not believe that's going to work. Given the amount of rust that is on this thing, so I'm going to go ahead and try to cut this entire bumper out of here and replace it. So we'll get started. And just a quick review of what I'll be using to fix this. I've got an old Hobart Handler 180 and a much older Lotus CT520D plasma cutter that is a Chinese eBay plasma cutter from 2004 or 5 time frame, probably when I bought this thing. I can't even remember, but it's held up, done pretty good. So we'll see if we can't use it to get this bumper cut off. Alright guys, we're making progress, but it's slow. Cord around here. This is what the plasma torch is not liking what I'm doing. The one thing with plasma, it doesn't do too bad when you're running down. I mean, this is almost vertical, like you'd normally be cutting a sheet of steel and punching down through the tube because the tube's going bye-bye. Anyway, the aggravation is when you get on joints like this where I wash the weld out and then the material I'm cutting gets further and further away from the nozzle. It doesn't like to hold its electrical connection, and kind of same down here. I'm down in a little groove here. And I washed a good bit of that material out. There's still a little connection right in here. And I'm just trying to, it says I'm not actually just making a straight cut. I'm actually sort of washing the torch back and forth to try and wash away some of the weld. Cut off wheels would be another option. I might still end up having to use some of that. The plasma cutter will get at least the majority of the material out of the way. Another aggravation with it is you're shooting a jet of hot metal or hot plasma that cuts the metal or melts the metal and blows it away. Back in this corner though, there's a bunch of dirt and crap and rust that has built up there that I'm having a real hard time chipping out. So as I cut through here, it doesn't give that metal a place to escape, so it doesn't cut real good. It acts like you're cutting real thick steel when that happens. So I don't have oxygen acetylene for our torch. I need to figure out a place to probably get some at some point. So this is what I got right now. And you'll see that's sort of what we do on this channel. We make do with what we have when we have it. So I'm going to try to finish cutting this thing out with plasma, and I'll bring you back. But that's the general process of what I'm doing. So, alright, so I tried something a little different on the last one. I'm going to do the same on this one. My access in this area is a bit poor, so I'm actually going to cut a chunk of this bumper out to try to improve that a little bit. At least that's the idea. And again, cutting with hot metal. I'll try to make sure my wire harness and stuff's out of the way. gonna knock off some of this jagged stuff so I can get my torch down there. If it's free, now the bigger one to cut is going to be down here, which is going to be tough. But rinse and repeat. Alright guys, I've been hacking chunks out of this thing. Actually this is probably the easier way to go. I'm going to say, number one, I've not been looking forward to this job because I knew it was going to be aggravating, but plasma is free. It's just compressed air and electricity, so it's not free, but it's not a consumable necessarily. So I've been chopping away at it. I first made some little chops in here to be able to try to wash that weld out. That weld's still real hard to wash, so I decided to say forget it. I was just going to cut around it and then I'll deal with it after I get the bumper off. And then there may be more weld connections in here, so I decided it's easier. I'm going to try to break this chunk of the bumper free. But one thing I did want to show you is this bumper has been pushing against the bottom of the rail so much that it's actually fatigue cracked. Yeah, my light disappeared. Back up. There we go. You can see the crack down there at the bottom. There we go. So you can see this thing has been cracking away for quite a while. And that's just due to all the weight and this bumper twisting back and forth. So it'll definitely be easier for me to just cut this thing free. And I might have to make one more cut up through here. And I think I will. And then I'll get the sledgehammer out. And I did the same thing around here too. It's got a weld underneath here on the way down here on the bottom side. It's difficult to get to, so I decided I'd just cut around most of these abutments and then we'll see if we can take the bumper off in pieces. I think it's going to be easier than trying to get it all off in one big chunk with the plasma cutter. Good hit. Real soft. Alright guys, this camera doesn't have time lapse and I'm not going to bore you with a whole bunch of long cutting, but I basically get out this and I run a slit all the way down the top of this bumper. And I'm going to try to see if I can peel it backwards. bottom of it's rusty enough it'll fold over. I don't think I broke every single little connection through here. Chisel the gap open. Bigger pry bar. This connection right here might have me nailed, but there might be something in there that's internal. So I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and cut around that. Glasses over glasses. There's the inside of a load trail bumper. It's basically a rusted piece. There's wasn't too much patching that. It's like a little tube welded in there. I'll cut this out, clean this up, and have this ready to go into the new bumper. Back to cutting. Well guys, took a lot of cutting, a little bit of beating, but we have pretty well got the bumper off. Still got a little bit of cleanup. Most of this stuff will actually clean up a lot. It'll be real easy to clean this up now. So I have good access to cut most all of this off. So we'll be in good shape there. And I'll have to make sure these two end up level. Or actually I'll probably level it with the top. Might just tack in a little tie bar because this here is it's supporting this top right now, so it's flimsy. But I'll probably just tack in a piece of steel. This one still has the weld connection on it. Sorry, make sure I'm pointing in the right place here. So it's still firm and right where it needs to be. So I'll get that taken care of before I go any further. But you see, I got a mess to clean up. And it's 4th of July, so it's still early in the day, so I'm gonna call it a day and go have some fun. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll catch you back later.